Boys, I know you're all confused, okay? You're not sure if you should bulk or you should cut. You know, I was once in your position. I was confused too. I was training for years, I thought I was doing everything right, but whenever I started cutting, I always just looked skinny. And then whenever I started bulking, I just got fat again. I was stuck in that skinny fat cycle, but after finally understanding my body, I finally found out the way to actually fix this and escape the skinny fat cycle. Boys, I'm gonna be honest, I mean, I started gym quite a while ago, you know, I started fat, like pretty fat on the fat end of things, right? And I was so lost, I didn't know what to do, man. You know, I tried all the crash diets, I tried the dirty bulks, I did all the powerlifting, I did what people say to do, power building, you know, go into the gym and train for strength. But for years, I just never seemed to develop that aesthetic body. I was frustrated, I was lost, I was confused, and my confidence was at an all-time low. I suppose if you are watching this right now, you are skinny fat and you don't know if you should bulk or you should cut. If you actually want to develop that aesthetic physique, then I need you to sit through this video because I'm going to go fully in depth on how to go from skinny fat to aesthetic. I'm going to go through a load of false information within the fitness industry and obviously the methods you can use to take you from skinny fat to aesthetic in just a few months, okay? Before we get into this, I need you to identify what type of skinny fat you are. I've been, in fact, in both of the stages. So there is skinny fat and then fat skinny fat. Fat skinny fat is having a load of excess fat with literally no muscle. Skinny fat is, you know, you are light, you're lean, you know, you don't have a crazy amount of body fat. However, you still don't have that aesthetic physique, you still don't have those defined abs, right? And that is skinny fat, right? Being skinny fat is a low amount of muscle mass compared to fat mass, right? And it can happen in a load of ways, okay? Especially in this modern world, you know, suppressing your hormones with everything they put into the food. Bloody food companies nowadays, mate. They're putting emulsifiers in your food, which spikes your ghrelin, makes you crave more food, makes you fatter, lowering your testosterone. You know, the modern lifestyle, you're inside all the time working at a desk. No wonder you're skinny fat. You're in school, you're not getting outside, you're not getting sunlight. No wonder you are skinny fat, right? There are a few things which I'm about to teach you now, which will literally take you from skinny fat to aesthetic, no matter what stage you're at, okay? I'll go in depth for both types of skinny fat. Before we get into anything, the training, the diet, the nutrition, the lifestyle and recovery, there's one thing I need to clarify, okay? If you actually want to see results, and if you actually want that aesthetic physique, okay, it's all in the mind. Whatever's setting you back right now, whether that's, you know, having gyno, that has been one of the mentally toughest things to get over. It's a problem that you can develop, especially when starting fat. Your hormones get all out of whack when you are developing through puberty, creating some sort of breast tissue in men. Breast tissue. That may be holding you back, okay? Let me just tell you something, man. If you don't get over this now and you don't, you know, calcify your mind and you don't put in the effort to try and help the situation you are in, you'll never get anywhere, okay? I need you to seriously sit and listen to this video, okay? If you actually want to see results. It's honestly not hard. It only took me a couple of months to pretty much change my whole entire life. The way I'm treated, you know, the way I treat people, the way I appreciate things more, okay? I'm just a better deep down person after going on this journey. And yeah, I honestly, man, it changed my life. Fix your mindset, okay, bro? Use it to your advantage. Use it as motivation, okay? When I go into my sessions now, because I have this condition, I push so unbelievably hard, okay? Just rewire your mindset like that, because eventually I know that if I carry on with this journey, 5 years down the line, I will have that 10 out of 10 aesthetic physique, right? Now we've got all of that cleared up. Now is the actual training, okay? For years, I followed the fitness industry's advice. So I'm sure you heard, do some flat bench, do your squats, do your deadlifts, you know, lift heavy, you know? If you're getting stronger, you know, you're making progress. And that is true. However, you're doing the wrong movements, okay? If you actually want to develop an aesthetic physique, you need to focus on those aesthetic muscles, right? The shoulders, the side delts, the biceps, okay? The lats, the upper pec, okay? That's how you develop an aesthetic physique. And obviously the abs, of course. So, boys, okay, stop trying to prove to your mates that you can bench 140 kg. When I was chasing 140 kg bench, look how fat I got. look how fat I got. And that was over 2 years in the gym. And I look like that. But for training, right, I want you to totally stop the flat bench. The flat bench did not grow my chest. My chest has always been a weak point, okay? And up until I started prioritizing the upper pec, I looked way more aesthetic. I started doing, you know, incline dumbbell, even incline barbell, right, is really good. But the point is I'm not just trying to chuck around weight. Yes, I'm trying to get stronger. Yes, I'm trying to, you know, progressively overload every single week. But I keep my form the same. You know, I record myself. I can see how, you know, what I need to improve with my form, right? Another very important thing is the mind-muscle connection, okay? You can go and just move weight, right? But if you're not actually connecting with the muscle, you're trying to grow, then it's never gonna grow, okay? You really gotta squeeze and you really gotta feel the muscle you are working, especially with those like hard to contract spots like the upper pec and like the side delt, okay? So pick movements that you enjoy and you can actually stick to and you can progress on. And if you do want training programs and you want to literally take yourself from skinny fat to aesthetic, check out the first link in the description. I go in depth with training, nutrition, diet, testosterone recovery, absolutely everything you need to take you from skinny fat to aesthetic. You could call it gym school, right? Do yourself a favor, visit the link in the description, and trust me, boys, it will change your life. And another big thing about the training, I see all these crazy guys doing 25 sets of muscle. Boys, there's no need to do that, okay? So a basic rule to follow is literally 8 to 12 sets per muscle group per week in the 6 to 10 rep range. Perfect form. Use the muscles that you actually want to grow, okay? You can have the perfect form, it looks perfect, it may look perfect, but if you can't feel it, if you're not getting, you know, the good squeeze in the area you want, maybe that exercise is not good for you, okay? So change it up, experiment with your body and what feels good for you and what you enjoy, so in the long term, you can stick to a program and actually see results. And another big thing I see people doing is program hopping, right? They just go on to the next program after seeing, you know, a new program get released from their new favorite influencer, right? They buy it and then they do it for like a month and then they just change back to their normal ways. No wonder you are skinny fat. No wonder you're not seeing progress, right? All you need to do the same exercises every week for months. Just do the same exercises. There's no need to complicate it. Yes, it may be repetitive and boring, right? But it's not boring because I'm seeing progression every single bloody session. So just focus on the simple things and progress each week on those aesthetic movements. No need to complicate it. Just stick to a program and progress, okay? And if you do want, you know, an optimized program to take you from skinny fat to aesthetic, link in description. So you've sorted out your training, okay? You're now ditching the powerlifting style movements and you're actually training for aesthetics. Your training intensity is at an absolute maximum and you are sticking to one program for a minimum of 3 to 4 months, okay? Also, tracking your progress is very important. Download this app called Strong. It is free. Right, now we've got the training covered. Now is diet and nutrition, my friends. If you are fat, skinny fat, so you have excess fat but still a low amount of muscle mass, they may say maintain or bulk, right? But if you are overweight, it is not doing you justice. It's keeping your testosterone low and it's overall actually slowing down your gym progress. So you need to cut. I'm not talking a harsh deficit, okay? Because you have no muscle in the first place. You need to be on a small deficit. I'm talking 400 to 600 calories, absolute maximum, and you just increase your daily activity. So like walks, okay? You just increase the amount of calories you burn, okay? You don't have a slow metabolism, you just don't move enough. So if you are skinny fat, I need you to just eat at maintenance, right? If you are skinny fat, that means you are pretty much in your beginner stage in the gym, right? So you can make newbie gains. You can easily pack on size, right? Yes, a small surplus is good. However, the current stage you are at now, there's no need for you to be be on a surplus. I'm not even on a surplus, and I'm gaining muscle. I'm eating maintenance calories right now, okay? And I'm seeing the best progression of my whole entire life. I'm getting leaner, and I'm gaining more muscle, and I'm getting stronger, right? So if you are skinny fat, just eat at maintenance calories. You know, you need to track your food. If you actually want to see results, and you want to, especially for your first few months in the gym, you can sort of eyeball it once you get to my stage. Just tracking your food is very important, especially for the first few months. Use Jeff Nippard's new app called Macro Factor. I'm not sponsored or anything, of course, but I highly recommend it. So for both types of skinny fat, right, you need to understand, you need to clock this in your brain. Your main goal here is to not lose fat, okay? Your main goal is to build muscle, okay? So focus on those aesthetic movements. Focus on your protein, okay? I know you've heard it, right? But why aren't you doing it, okay? If there's a diet you want to follow, well, it's not really a diet, it is the way humans and all of us should be eating. It is a 100% whole food diet. One ingredient foods only. Look, even speaking about it is making me excited. It has improved my life massively, man. I go in depth on this subject in all my videos. All my videos that I've made, I'm sure I've literally just mentioned a whole food diet, because the importance of this, okay? I was overlooking this for years. That's why I was not making any progress in the gym. Changing to a 100% whole food diet saved my life. It just saved my life, man. I honestly can't comprehend how important it is for you to do this, because once you start this journey and once you start, you know, prioritizing your health, it's just so addictive, because you're seeing progression. Literally after every session, I see progression. After every meal I eat, I'm progressing. It's so enjoyable, man. I just enjoy my life a lot more. I appreciate food a lot more. I'm a better deep down person, and my mind is just a lot healthier. You know, I'm mentally healthier, I'm physically healthier. It changed the game. The vitamins and minerals are so overlooked. People don't go fully in depth into this, okay? But with an app like Macro Factor, you can easily track them. I can think more clearly, and it's just my social life. Every aspect in my life improved since I started this journey. Changed my life, man. One absolutely essential thing that pretty much carried my cut is high volume foods. And pretty much what I mean by this is like watermelons, blueberries, zucchinis, loads of vegetables, which pretty much just have a low amount of calories. Vegetables? Grow up, man, please. Right, if you actually want to get lean and you want to make your life easier, just switch to a whole food diet, right? I can literally eat like vegetables raw now because they just taste good. If there is one thing that you really take away from this video, right? Even if you're some mum watching this, okay? Maybe you're some mum watching this, right? Who bloody knows? And you're into yoga. I don't bloody know, but if there's one thing you take away from this, is just eat a whole food diet. Have heavy emphasis on red meats, eggs, and fruits, especially blueberries, blackberries, kiwis, whole foods, and just track your food. Okay, it's that simple. So, now we have the training and the diet and nutrition covered. Now is lifestyle. Okay, now let me clarify. There are many companies out there trying to pretty much destroy our hormones, our life, our bodies, our mind, especially when I was in school, right? As a kid growing up, I was pretty much bullied my whole entire life through school, which is why I'm so motivated to, you know, help you guys out and, you know, get you from skinny fat to aesthetic. Even during my sets, I still think back to those days, man. And it is the slight brainwashing of school, you know? I don't want to get into it, but I'm so glad I left school at a young age. Yeah, anyway, the crap they would feed me for school. Holy shit, no wonder I was fat, mate. They used to feed me pizza, pasta, and no wonder my mental and physical health was just destroyed. I know you've probably heard it and you're probably sick of hearing it, but the modern world is actually killing you. Our ancestors, right, the guys with the, you know, highest testosterone and the fit bodies, they would go outside, they would go for long walks, they would sprint, they would, you know, hike big mountains, they'd be out in the sun, and they would sleep because their hormones were actually regulated. They would eat a high nutrient dense meal, you know, no processed bullshit like these fast food chains. Oh man, I can't believe I was eating that. And also the workforce and school, you're sat inside for 8 to 12 hours a day, right? Like you're not moving. No wonder you are skinny fat. Basic daily movement is so essential for your hormones and health. I can't comprehend how important it is, right? Getting outside and getting an absolute minimum of 6,000 to 7,000 steps is just so important. I can't clarify how important it is to just get moving more, man. It's so good for you mentally, so good for you physically, hormonally. It'll make you more motivated. Just do me a favor. Not me a favor, do yourself a favor. Just get outside. Enjoy, God's gift, okay? Enjoy nature. Enjoy, the birds chirping, which are probably interrupting the video now. Ground, okay? Get your feet on some grass, okay? It's so important. Do it slowly but surely, implementing all these things I'm teaching you now. It changed my life. I'm a better, happier, calmer person, okay? And of course, with the lifestyle comes sleep, and you need to recover like it is literally your full-time job. You can't be training 7 to 6 days a week in the gym and doing the volume you are currently doing now, okay? It's obviously not working. Pick a proven program. Stick to something you enjoy. Train 3 to 5 times a week. Do what I told you before. Get a steak, baby! If you're not progressing and you feel drained and tired and unmotivated to go to the gym all the time, it means you are doing too much, okay? Cut back your training a bit, get more excited for it, make your sessions a bit shorter, lower the volume a bit, and trust me, the gym will be so enjoyable, man. I am so excited to go into my sessions right now. So enjoyable. I'm literally seeing progression. I'm seeing progression like every session, boys. I'm loving it at the moment. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Obviously, with sleep and recovery, I used to struggle with my sleep, especially as a kid, getting to sleep and also staying asleep. I was on 4 to 5 hours sleep a night for months, mate. But up until I started taking some certain supplements, after I actually started practicing like mindfulness and like journaling and gratitude and like meditation, grounding, is when my sleep improved, okay? So if you currently can't recover and your sleep is currently out of whack, please listen to me. Wake up, meditate for literally 5 to 15 minutes, okay? Just sit there in silence, focus on your breath, okay? Exclude all outside thoughts, and then journal straight away. Wake up really early, go to bed early. Ground when the sun comes up and have some sunlight, get outside as soon as the sun is up. So as soon as it hits 7 o'clock, I rush outside and try and get some sunlight and ground. So boys, it's consistency over motivation any day of the week. Yes, you need to be disciplined. And yes, you need motivation, right? I'm not saying you don't, right? Motivation can actually make things more enjoyable and you actually become a happier person during this process, right? But you can't just rely on motivation, because there's going to be those points where you don't want to train. There's going to be those points where you want to, binge, okay? And that's where your discipline and self-control needs to just, take over. The motivation will come back, okay? And if you are currently struggling with motivation, you need to get off your phone, okay? That is pretty much the only solution, okay? You've just got to cut out these things, okay? You've got to start being more grateful for the things you have. So just fix your dopamine receptors. I'm going to go fully in depth in my community for that, because it is a massive subject which I have overcome. I was so addicted to that, man. If there's one thing you need to take away from this, it is, you got this, okay? You got this. It's not that hard. Soon you will transform your body, as long as you just carry on, okay? You may not see results after 2 months, maybe even after a year, you've really got a bit more of a bicep. But that's still progress, okay? You got to stop comparing yourself to these crazy physiques on Instagram, especially, man. Okay, but as long as you just stay consistent and you stick to the same stuff, years down the line, right? If you just carry on with this, you will have that aesthetic body eventually. Whether it takes 3 years, whether it takes 5 years, whether it takes bloody 10 years, if you just carry on training, you will someday have that aesthetic physique. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So boys, stay consistent, okay? And of course, with a healthy mind comes a healthy body. So if you're actually ready to build that aesthetic physique properly with in-depth guides, check the first link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, boys, and I really hope this one helped. All the best. God bless.